City Ransom. This is the game I grew up on. I love this one. I played it with my dad, and already you know I'm going to have a lot of good things to say about it. Let's get going right now. River City Ransom was the classic on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Here's the downside, okay? Downside is what we released at about the same time as another game that y'all probably have heard of. It had massive success in the arcade and otherwise. It was called Double Dragon. Sadly, the two were released at the same time, and since Double Dragon was already a household name, because of the arcades, River City slipped into cult fandom. Sukyaj! River City was the better game. Here's why. Not only do you go through and fight a whole bunch of guys who are dressed like it's the 1950s, but you do it to mask Japanese stereotypes, Japanese culture that just won't make sense in America. We didn't have anime back then, guys. This is 1980s. I like River City Ransom because you start out, of course, with just a generic character. And your character can kick, punch, jump. That's it. Kick, punch, jump. You find a weapon, you can pick it up, use it against them. Okay? Not much fun. However, as you beat up enemies, coins fall out of them. You use the coins to buy upgrades for your character. My favorite upgrades are the Dragon Feet and the Grand Slam. Now, you're going to catch me using that most of the time here because that's all you really need. Dragon Feet allows you to kick repeatedly. It's basically like an auto combo. But since it's Nintendo, he just sticks his foot out there and shakes his foot. Come on, shake, 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 shake your footy, shake your footy. I mean, that's all it is. Basically, they didn't, like, when they redid this for Game Boy Advance, they added it where it's actually a combo. He, like, does a couple kicks to the, the gut and then high and then finishes them off with a roundhouse or something. But in this original version, it was so cheesy, it was just memorable and awesome. Now, if you had stone hands, you could punch fast. If you have Grand Slam, any weapon you pick up, you can use it fast. I recommend the chain. The chain has length. It can sometimes hit downed enemies. And even though it's not the most powerful weapon in the game, because of its length, ability to hit down foes, and ability to set other weapons in motion. So if you have boxes, trash cans, stuff like that, it can actually whip them across the screen. It became the most useful. I always went chain hunting and held onto my chain for dear life. Sweet. They also had some weird ones like Fatal Steps where you could jump on opponents and then you could use Javelin Man to throw them across the screen, which seemed cool but really wasn't. Whatever. I used Acro Circus as well, which is freaking Ninja Turtle Somersault Jumps, guys. Come on, Ninja Turtle Somersault Jumps, guys. That's the way to go, man. You actually are invincible when you do this move. I don't get it, but hey, it works, right? So the story of River City Ransom is that your girlfriend was kidnapped by Slick, who's waiting for you atop River City High to have a battle to the death for control of the city, because somehow a whole bunch of students joined together under the guise of one and basically created gangs that end up overrunning. Just don't think about it. Go with it. It makes sense if you're in an anime world. So you have to save your girlfriend so she can finish her shopping. And if you think I'm kidding, that is part of the ending. I can go finish my shopping. Spoiler alert. Or was I supposed to say that ahead of time? But still, the reveal of who Slick is, I'm not going to spoil that for you. The game actually puts you through a variety of areas. Some that are not OSHA approved, like this factory here. And so as you're going through all these areas, you'll fight different enemies, different gangs is what they're called in the game. And the gangs basically, they range from the homeboys and the jocks who can be taken down with a couple punches to the face, to the plague who are hard to take down. And the more difficult they are to take down, in most cases, the more money they're worth. Sadly, your top tiers are the Plague, which is the hardest to take down, the Cowboys, which is the second hardest to take down, and then the Internationals, which are the most lucrative. At $1.50 each, I go international hunting. $1.50 a piece, guys. You want to take down international students. They're holding out on you. Throughout the entire game, though, you will stop at different eateries with the money to replenish health. And every time you do, your stats increase. And your stats allow you to become stronger through eating. I wish that was real life, okay? If I could just sit there, chomp a power bar, and all of a sudden, I'm stronger. That would rock. I mean, that would totally be awesome. I'd be chomping power bars all day and just get to a point where I'm like lifting a Mack truck. Wow, he ate a lot of power bars there. It shows. Another interesting point in the game, weird little things. You could stop by the shoe store and put as many insoles as you want in your shoes to increase your character's strength. Insoles in your shoes make you stronger. Just go with it. It's game logic. It's also funny is when you're playing the game, watch below as you're beating up some of these guys. Because they'll scream out things like, lighten up, Rambo, or barf! Oh, man. If only it was that way in real life. You get in a fight at school, you elbow the guy, he goes, lighten up, Rambo, barf! And no, I don't advocate fighting at school, but still, the way this game is just silly. It's like they didn't translate anything to the T, and so when it comes over here, since none of the Japanese parts of it actually worked, all the American stuff they threw in just made it goofy. Fun though. Bosses come every once in a while, depending on where you're at. And there are key bosses like Moose, who's a pushover. And then you get the twins, Benny and Clyde, who are sitting next to, it looks like, I can't tell if these are phone booths or if this is like weird bathroom stalls. I don't know, looks like outhouses to me. But I'm not Japanese back in the 80s, so, whatever. And then it actually forces you, this is more of an open world as you can go from front and back, and you actually have to go to certain points in the game and then come back to the beginning of the game because they'll send you back and forth a little bit for different bosses. And this, I know the backtracking seems asinine. But I don't mind it as much because the game keeps a good pace going. The only time it slows down is when you're in one of the 4 cities in the game. And in those 4 cities, that's where you buy your stuff. That's where you buy. The first town gives you Dragon Feet, Aqua Circus, and Stone Hands. Second town gives you no new moves. And the third town and fourth town give you the final moves. So you want to make sure that you stop in the towns, check out what they have, and buy what you need. I had a lot of fun with this one as a kid. I had a lot of fun. I would totally recommend this game. And you know what? This is one that is worth picking up an NES or NES compatible playing system just to get the game and play it. Just play this one. Actually on an NES. There's something about it that you don't quite capture with the ROMs. And I do have to make that statement because I played it on emulators, and there is something about holding an NES controller in your hand that is, maybe it's just nostalgia, but there's something about it that playing it in emulation format didn't do for me. And yes, I do own a legal copy of the game. So, right game for you, and I totally recommend it. See the game that was overlooked because of Double Dragon. Awesome. Poppy, we'll have to hit this one up again if you're ever up for it. Morals. Yes, martial arts violence. You are beating the living daylights out of people. And I do want to state, though, the ISIS scroll is not referring to a terrorist organization, it's actually referring to Isis, the Egyptian goddess. Not terrorist, Egyptian goddesses. So just keep that in mind when you decide whether you're going to purchase the Isis scroll or not. All that to say, it is actually a fun game. Morals, martial arts, martial arts violence. That's the only thing. Cartoony martial arts violence. If this was today, this would probably be getting, like, because of the graphics and everything, probably getting an E10+. That would be my guess on it. But since this predated the rating system, there's no rating on it. There's no rating on it, so sorry, guys. Sorry. Hey, MoralGamer, MoralGamer.com. Like, subscribe, comment, share, gameplay channel, review channel, links below, and also our support link too. We look forward to seeing you next time with our next game. Thanks for watching, and thanks for the nostalgia.
Let's see if I can beat these dudes with the tire. Yes! Final confrontation atop River City High.